And that is where we begin. Hurricane Milton is moving onshore now. Thank you for joining us for the news at 5. I'm Hannah Kim.
And I'm Matthew Smith. Now you have a live look at a bridge in the Tampa area right now. Milton has sustained winds above 100 miles per hour, and reports of tornadoes touching down as a result of this storm are making the situation that much more dire. A record number of tornado warnings were issued today across southern Florida. If you're actually taking a look at doorbell camera footage of one tornado in Fort Myers, you'd see palm trees being blasted by wind-driven rain before a howling gust of wind began to shake the camera and shred trees. The owner of that home that had that camera says he and his family were not home. In fact, they evacuated out ahead of the storm. But while they left, many are ignoring warnings to do that.
Did a little bit more research and looked up other hurricanes to see what towns looked like after major hurricanes, and there were always a handful of homes standing, and guess what? This is supposed to be one of those. So, probably be a few days without power, and they'll turn it back on. I don't recommend this to anybody, not a soul, but we're going to be fine.
That last part is key because it is against the recommendations right now. Now, we're looking at video from hurricane hunters with NOAA that flew into the eye of this hurricane, the calmest part of the storm. But as you look to the right, that is the eye wall that you're looking at. That's where the most intense winds are. This was one of the last flights that the crew was able to do to gather valuable information on Milton before it started to make landfall. At last check, winds were gusting up to 150 miles per hour. Now, we do have team coverage tonight on Milton. Meteorologist Alona McCauley is digging into our past storms for some context. Lloyd Sowers is in Tampa, braving some of the early bands that have been coming in. But we do want to start with meteorologist Claire Anderson.
Yeah, so Claire, what's the very latest? I know you're really busy tracking this for us.
Yes, we've been in the Weather Center just looking minute by minute the changes. As of right now, it is currently a Category 3 hurricane, slowly making its way onshore in Florida. We're seeing sustained winds around 120 miles per hour, wind gusts around 150 miles per hour. I do want to take you closer in currently where, notice again, here is the eye wall, the northern part of the eye wall slowly moving onshore right now in Florida. Here's Sarasota, part Charlotte, Cape Coral just down here. So again, making its way. As we look at the track of this storm, it will continue to move onshore through this evening. By early tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time, it will downgrade to a Category 1. But this is still a Category 1 hurricane moving over central Florida. Hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, all in effect on both sides of Florida. It will slowly then move offshore by Thursday afternoon down to a tropical storm and then slowly make its way further out into the Atlantic. We are seeing dangerous conditions, landfall expected here, continuing through the next hour or so. Shelter in place, extreme wind warning, storm surge, as well as rain over a foot. Now, we are going to take a look at one of our local reporters who is actually there in Tampa. A Fox reporter, Lloyd Sowers, is in Tampa. Lloyd, how are things right now?
Yeah, good evening, Claire. It is coming ashore in Sarasota County to our south, but there's a huge amount of rain coming in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. I'll have Corey Beckman, a photojournalist, just get off me here and get to some of the trees and some of the rain. We are just west of downtown Tampa. I was under a porch roof, and now Corey is taking some shots of the wind and rain coming off our parking garage here at Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. And you can see this gusty wind now coming into the Tampa area. They were talking about 18 inches of rain possible on the north end of the storm. And Claire, they talk about the south end being the dangerous part for the storm surge that coming ashore in Sarasota County, but the north end being very wet. And as you look at the radar presentation here, you can see all that rain here to the north of the storm. And that right now is blanketing Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater with just a lot of rain. I think I saw 8 inches in the last hour or so. It's really coming down here.
And Lloyd, yeah, we saw you about an hour ago, and looking at your camera shot now, it is noticeably different, much worse. You're drenched in rain. Hopefully you stay safe out there. But is there anything that you want people to know in that area? We've talked to people who've decided to hunker down for various reasons. So for those people who are hunkered down, what advice do you have for them?
Well, you know, you just have to stay in as high a place as you can. I mean, there are places in Tampa that are 20 feet above the ground, and if you're 20 feet above the ground, you have a pretty good shot at surviving the storm surge. With Helene, we saw people on their kitchen islands. We saw people in their beds that would actually be lifted up as that surge came in, and then as the surge went out, they were lifted back down on their bed. So we heard stories about that with Helene. I think, though, Claire, that a lot of people have taken this seriously. I think we saw thousands of people get out of this area. A lot of Floridians in Georgia right now. There are thousands of Floridians in shelters right now, and there are people hunkered down in their homes. There are people always who will refuse to leave. The authorities say, listen, if you refuse to leave, we aren't going to make you go, but we can't come back and get you. You are on your own. So we imagine there are a lot of people that are on their own tonight, and it's going to be a scary night as this comes ashore on the west coast of Florida.
And Lloyd, we just want to say thank you. We know that you're making sure that your local viewers as well are getting all the warnings and the information as it comes in. We appreciate the work that you're doing out there. We hope you stay safe tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lloyd. Meanwhile, crews from our state are in a staging area in Alabama right now, waiting instructions from FEMA to move into Florida. Dozens of Task Force 1 members left Washington this week on this important mission. We are told that they are prepared to help in a multitude of ways.
You know, going into trenches or to helping people underneath buildings, doing any search and rescue efforts, they're very well prepared for all of that, and that's what they've trained for. They have a love and a passion for helping the community, and so they come out and they train really, really hard so that they can come out and help people who are having the worst day of their lives.
And this is not their everyday job. Members of the task force work in jobs ranging from police officers, firefighters, and doctors to public works and civil engineers. There are 80 team members and 4 search and rescue dog teams. The typical deployment is for around 2 weeks.
Now, we do have everything that you need to know about this storm. That includes live feeds in Florida for a first-hand look at the winds and the rains that you saw Lloyd in moments ago. We also have a story that's causing even additional concerns on the ground. That's the potential for power outages, not from the storm, but also from a geomagnetic storm that's brewing. For all of this and more, you can head on over to fox13seattle.com.